And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this game is going to be... Ooh. Guys, we get to see Sofanda versus... Well, we get to see Sofanda versus anyone.
Freiza's brother was cooler is their name.
Did you get the chat bans? Did you get them before
yes,
practice
I did.
yellow?
He's in the game!
Oh dear.
I couldn't do it.
And the answer is yes, you always need to screenshot your stuff, because sometimes the VOD disappears from the internet.
And then we're all really, really sad.
Getting the match media from that tournament was horrible. I hope Riot doesn't come in here and be like, hey, where's your match media? And we're just like, And then let's have a Parkhurst make something in MS Paint. That was... Painkiller did that once for a screenshot. They were the bands, and I'm like, Parkhurst really? Or not Parkhurst, I'm like, Painkiller really? And it's like sketched out in MS Paint, and he's like, there's this crude drawing of Caston with a circle with a line through it. I'm like, I'll have to dig that up at some point. It's one of my favorite things that's on my hard drive now. So the chat bans were posted in the Twitch chat.
I love MS Paint pictures. You guys should all, draw me MS Paint pictures, and then, message them to me in League or something. It will make me so happy.
Where is it? Not that picture. Do I have it on here? Do I have it on here? No, I don't. Okay. I was gonna see if I had one of my MS Paint things, but most of the overlays and stuff that I make are made with a significant amount of hours in MS Paint. Because I don't have or speak Photoshop yet, so I just zoom really, really far in and pixel edit MS Paint images.
No, I mean really bad MS Paint drawings, where you're trying to draw something, but you just draw it with your mouse and you don't have a tablet or anything, and it just looks awful. I love pictures like that.
I know what you're talking about. I just wanted to show off my paint skills. They take so many hours. I really need to get used to what's it called? I need to get used to doing Photoshop and start doing that, and I can make my own stuff. I also am really happy to see Chronic Angina playing. I haven't actually seen him play in a DD game in... I don't even know how long, man. He hasn't been here in quite some time. It's also nice to see Practice Yellow No-Namer, as well as Lord Adori. Some of the names that I don't see come up as often. Oh, hey, Prince Zane! Nice to see you back at the show. Are you competing this week, or are you just hanging out watching the stream, man? Let's talk about the picks. Zyra, a lot of AoE ability, does a lot of damage, extreme crowd control, snare, airborne, slows, brutal. Learn to play Zyra, and you can help set up so many kills for your team. It's kind of unreal. Over on the other side, we're seeing Sejuani and Jarvan. Now we're seeing Sona and Jarvan highlighted. Let's see what these guys decide to lock in as. You might get to see some Sona.
Sona! Yay! I love Sona. Sona's my favorite champion in the game. I think she's super awesome, and Power Chord is the coolest ability in the entire game.
Because nothing is more awesome than playing a champion where you have to plan out your skills 7 seconds in advance.
Well, yeah. What?
Is it 7 seconds? What's the exact time to go through two Power Chord cycles?
I mean,
assume the first one you want is already up, and you need 2 more. How many seconds total of cooldowns is that?
I mean, each of her skills, except for ult, is a 7-second cooldown, but you might have to change which chord that you want. And so if you just use your Q chord, and then you want to have a W chord, you need to wait 7.5 seconds, because you need to cast Q before W.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's at most 7.5 seconds.
I was close with the 7. And then we're also seeing Jarvan. Sona's great because AoE stuns are always nice to have. She brings a lot of stat manipulation to the table. She increases allies' speed, decreases enemy speed. And I'm gonna rant about that for a second. I'm really sorry about this, but I need to drive home the importance of the following. When you have an ability to increase your speed by a little bit and decrease the speed of an enemy's by a little bit, that's actually a much more significant change than I think people realize. If you have let's say you have a Frozen Mallet on Vayne for some reason, but just hear me for a second.
That's legit.
Yeah, let's say it's just something that you don't see built too often. Let's say you have a Frozen Mallet on Vayne, okay? And it's a ranged attack, so it's going to slow for a little bit less. than if you had to hit them with a melee attack. If I'm remembering it right. I don't think they changed that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, you shoot them with that. Vayne also has Final Hour. Now, a normal person hitting you with a Frozen Mallet at range, you might still be able to escape, okay? You might take another hit more than normal. However, with Vayne's increased, the triple, her passive from Final Hour gives her a significant amount of increased movement speed. So between the slow from that, plus the increased movement speed, she's getting in about 3 more, maybe 4 more attacks than she would if she only had one or the other. If she had just the Frozen Mallet by herself, she might get 1.5 in. You know, if she had maybe 2. And then with her passive, with Final Hour, she might get another 1.5 in. But with the combination of them both, that's an extra 1.5 to 2 hits, which is her base damage times number of hits, which is a significant amount of damage. Don't think about a slow as chase. Think about a slow as extra damage. If an enemy character is slowed by a certain amount, that equals how many more auto attacks, which means if I slow them by 50%, that slow effectively does how much damage to them by getting those extra attacks in. Just something to think about when you guys are out there playing characters. Lulu is another really good example of this. Slow enemies by a hideous amount, speed up allies by a significant amount, get all that extra damage in. It's good stuff.
60 extra movement speed to an ally on your W for 5 seconds. 5 seconds, you get 60 extra move speed. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Lulu is ridiculous.
Alright, now look at the picks and things. I didn't mean to get too derailed on that. I just wanted, movement speed is such a powerful stat.
35%. 35%. You gain 35% movement speed on an ally, or you decrease the enemy move speed by 60.
Now you have, so someone who brings a lot of stat manipulation, Jarvan, line effect AoE airborne, plus you can box people in to other people's ultimates, which we'll get into in a moment. We're also seeing Xin Zhao and Maokai. Xin Zhao he's a pretty solid duelist. He makes for a lot of damage in a short period of time. Maokai really brings lockdown to the table. He has a snare and an airborne, plus a lot of damage reduction. Between Mao and Zyra, that's a lot of crowd control and zoning for... I feel like we're going to see Armed Weasel bottom, but that'd actually be a really good setup for Urgot up top as a ranged. Or maybe we'll see Maokai bottom, and we'll get to see that Urgot top with Zyra, although it wouldn't be nearly as much crowd control. Basically, if you ever combine Mao and Zyra up in the top lane, you have a lot of crowd control for whoever your ranged happens to be, and things can get really nasty for the enemy team.
I'm pretty sure that it's an AP Corki, because he has appearance and masteries, which I can say because they're into the load screen. I'm really excited.
It's also Golly. He does play some AP that champ. Also, Corki. Corki's a character we saw for a little bit, and then he disappeared again, and then he came back. More recently, we started to see some AP builds appear with him. And Golly with Corki. Corki, as AP, does a lot of damage. Valkyrie is an okay-ish escape, though. It's a little bit slower than some other things. Caster, don't know how we comp. You're right, unicorns. I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna BS you and pretend that I know exactly how you guys put your teams together. I'm just gonna say what could happen. And if you guys prove me horribly wrong on camera, then I just have to deal with that. So we're seeing Poppy as well. Poppy's a character that we traditionally see AP here on Dominion, but she sometimes goes AD as well. And we're going to see Adori Syndra in the bottom lane, because Adori bottom lanes Syndra. I'm going to take a look at the...
Syndra's pretty strong.
So that's Syndra bottom. Up in top they have they don't have a ranged, but that can be okay, because Poppy and J4 can really bring their team to the enemy team. As Poppy can dive in, J4 can dash forward and box him in, gave time for Brand to catch up. Brand can fill Jarvan's Cataclysm with fire. And Sona has a stun as well, so they do have a lot of crowd control to be able to really use Clever Advisor's Brand's AoE damage. On the other side, there's a lot of crowd control. And if they can keep people locked down for Xin Zhao to just swing at people, and for Gala to be able to land skill shots without them dodging, the AP Corki with that crowd control is going to be pretty nice. So we'll either see Weasel down bottom or Maokai down bottom. And we'll see Adori on Syndra down the bottom lane. Syndra's pretty squishy. She's gankable, but her damage gets really high as the game goes on. So she gets good at ganking later, even if has to play a little conservative early. One of the things that I'm noticing is that there are a ton of exhausts
Yeah.
on...
That's actually insane.
What is that team called?
Freiza's brother was cooler.
Okay, on Freiza's team, which means
FBC.
they're gonna be better.
I think it's FBC.
They're gonna be better at team fighting. They're gonna be better at dueling because they have that exhaust. On the other side, there are a lot of exhausts as well, but there's also a CV, which is going to help them with map control a little bit, and there's also that Ignite there, and I have no idea
Garrison.
who that's... Wait a minute, I know what that Ignite's there. You want to know something funny about Ignite? When it's on cooldown, it gives Golly more AP.
It also gives him more AD.
Yeah.
5 each.
I mean, it'll help against J4 and Poppy a little bit, too, but... No Moloko, I can't for some reason. Rangel, do you use XSplit or OBS?
OBS.
So I'm trying to figure out what's up with XSplit. XSplit used to give me a viewer count, but it doesn't anymore.
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
I was having too many problems with FPS drops in-game when I was using XSplit, and when I switched to OBS, it went away completely. So I was like, okay, I am never using XSplit again.
Oh, Moloko, yeah, we have no idea about the viewer count, because I used to be able to see it in XSplit, but I can't anymore. And we have hit the loading screen. This is going to be Sofanda's Bear Tibbers versus Freiza's brother was cooler. Sofanda's team, consisting of Ipu Unicorns playing as Xin Zhao, Generic playing as Zyra, Practice Yellow playing as Maokai, Armed Weasel playing as Urgot, and Golly playing as Corky. I am one half of your commentators. I am Gander, and commentating with me is...
I am Rheingold River, and the other half of your players for this game is Freiza's brother was cooler, aka FBC, because that name is way too long to say. It is Micaiah time on Sona, Chronic and Jaina playing Jarvan, and Clever Advisor on Brand, No Namer on Poppy, and Lord Adori playing Syndra.
Okay, this is too good to not show on the screen. Guys, when we talked about flowcharting, we meant it. There's the image. Somebody has found it. It exists once again. That was missing for so freaking long. I couldn't remember where I had put it.
I'll put it in our Skype chat.
Oh, I showed it on the stream. I've got it now. I got a bug splat. I have to reconnect real quick.
Well, I can pass the first few minutes of this game, or moments, I guess, while you... But we have Lord Adori picking up a Prospector's Ring, Boots, and Potions. Same items going over for Sona. Sona can start out with a tier sometimes. You do see that because she is absolutely crazy for mana, but starting out with a Prospector's Ring going to help her a lot more in the windmill fight. We actually have Prospector's Boots and Potions on absolutely everyone over on the side of Sofanda's Bear Tibbers. And Jaina and Advisor having a little bit of trouble actually picking up their items so far. 43 seconds and they still have not picked up any. There's a couple grasping units coming out from Zyra. We actually get into a pause timer here. So I think you should be able to connect before... I can actually turn on my chat.
What's your timestamp at? I'm at 43, 44, 45.
I'm at 45.
I'm at pause time remaining 41, 40, 39,
39, 38, 37.
Okay,
Alright.
we should be fine.
Clever Advisor needs to restart his computer.
Oh, that doesn't take that long usually.
So that will take a little bit of time there. And we do have the Prospector's Blade built by Chronic there.
Stormfallen in the chat makes a reference to Faith. Faith was really annoying to manipulate in Unidentified Fantastic Object. No, that's not it. Mountain of Faith. There we go. That's number 10, right? UFO was 12? Yeah. There we go. I remember it right. Subterranean Animism was 11. Imperishable Night was 8. Perfect Cherry Blossom was 7. Embodiment of Scarlet Devil was 9. No, Embodiment of Scarlet Devil is 6. I don't remember the other ones now.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
There's these scrolling vertical shooters that are like really, really hard and really fun to play. I'm trying to remember the names of them all.
I should totally play Osu during the pause.
That's such a fun game.
I love Osu. I've been playing it so much. I started playing about a month and a half ago, and basically I get bored of the game as soon as I'm getting more than about 85% on any particular song. So I play these ridiculously hard songs that like it's like a goal to be able to get above 70% on them, and it's just so fun.
Yeah, a StarCraft player, QXC, played that game on the stream sometimes as like warm-ups before he would actually like play games. That's how I found out about it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Osu is a great warm-up before you play a real game. Well, I guess Osu is sort of a real game, but before you play like a competitive game, it is very good reflex training.
Yeah, that and playing Stepmania on keyboard is also a good one. But it makes your pad skills suck, so there's a downside. We had one person who had to restart their computer, and there's not a lot going on, just opening buy to boost prospectors, items, things like that. A lot going on. This is DominateDominion.com League of Legends Dominion Tournament number 76. This is the round of... Someone else can tell me what round this is, so I don't have to alt-tab, but...
This is round 2.
No, the round of how many participants. Round 2 doesn't tell me anything.
It's round 2.
Well, is it round 2 out of 4 rounds or round 2 out of 6 rounds?
I have no idea.
Neither do I!
But it's round 2.
Oh my gosh.
See, this way we can sound more knowledgeable to our viewers.
Rheingold, I have to spread the word on a great idea. It's called the Gung Ho Gun Lion Ban Every Champ In-House. The way it works is you play a series of in-houses, but the bans persist from game to game until you only have 10 left.
GG.
It's amazing.
So it's like the series, the winner is whoever wins all of the...
No, all 6 bans stay.
The most games.
And yeah, whoever wins the most games wins. Whichever team does.
Is it just the bans that stay, or can you no longer pick any of the champions that were picked in the previous game?
Oh no, just the bans that stay.
Alright.
Yours is a more hardcore mode, which I'm also up for doing too. That's a great idea. It's gonna be called Rheingold mode when that happens. Yeah, we literally banned every champion in Dominion in a game on Thursday night. Happened around like 10:30 p.m. Riot time, and I just made an overlay. I just made an overlay, and I really like the overlay that I made for it. Basically, I made this image, right, that has all of the champions on it, and with the whiteboard overlay, I went through and I crossed them out as they were banned so that we could keep track of it. And the ones that made it through were Elise, Jarvan, Nidalee, Kassadin, Kha'Zix, Lulu, Riven, some other champs I don't remember, but basically the theory was they wanted to use the best champs they could to win, so they systematically banned out all of the champs that they didn't think were very good. And they banned progressively better and better champions until they ended up with the 10 best and then played with that. Because they wanted to win the game, so they kept the best champs in, rather than end up playing a champion they didn't know how to play.
Interesting.
That ban strategy. And it's not Comic Sans, by the way, guys. Just so you know. Yay! Clever Advisor is back.
But the Lucky Dude says it's the round of 8.
Round of 8? Excellent. So round of 16 was the first one. This could be the round of 8, also known sometimes as the quarterfinals, occasionally. Blap2 asks, who are the people in there that are not champions? Well, I don't know if you were looking at that image, Rheingold, when it was on the screen, but...
I was not.
Fancy Wolf is in there, Zemike is in there, Urf the Manatee is in there, the Eye of Sauron is in there, and Valor is also in there. So if Quinn got banned, I crossed out Valor also. And then here's the best part about it. Wolfer was actually in the game. If they had actually banned Wolfer, I was going to tell him that he got banned and had to switch out. And it was going to be really depressing. He would have been so mad at me. But I was just, hey man, you're banned. I'm sorry. Maybe you could ask your teammates to ban something else instead of you. So yeah, they probably figured that I would do that, so they didn't ban him for that reason. Which is, they're probably like, well, Gander might troll us harder than we troll him, so he might actually do that. Either way, it was a really fun game to do. I think we're going to have a different way of doing it in the future so that the bans can go through faster, because it did take a long time to do them all. Poke back and forth up at the top portion of the map. Sapling being thrown out. Sapling is very good at zoning. Looks like we're going to see that AP Corki at the bottom lane. So we are going to see that crowd control setup for Ro8 at the upper part of the map.
Poke coming out back and forth. The zone control that you just mentioned from Maokai is even better from Zyra. And also pretty good from Brand. There's the engage from Chronic, and he's going to get engaged on by the rest of the team. Sona coming in from the side. After Jarvan goes down there, Poppy gets the stun into the wall. Remember, Poppy has her Valiant Fighter passive, takes 50% less damage from abilities that do more than 10% of her current health. But Brand has no such passive, and so he is going to fall. Unicorns over on the side behind Makaya Time getting CC'd and going to go down this entire time. Practice Yellow is better at capturing points than he is at typing bans into the Twitch chat, and so he's going to be able to capture the windmill for his team.
Yali and Adori hanging out in the bottom lane. Not a lot going on down there yet. Looks like Poppy is swinging around for a gank, and this time I remember to put the camera down here in time to pick up the first gank of the game. Great job. No, Poppy's going to leave, and not make use of my actual advanced precognitive camera positioning. Way to go, Poppy. I did something right for a change, and you negated it completely. Now it's Maokai heading down toward the lower part of the map. You can see him just hanging out around
Generic is going to get the ward into the bush, and by ward I mean seed. The name is Rampant Growth, but it's a seed.
It's going to throw the vision into the bush. Ro8, can you pick up this Storm Shield? Someone's going to speed on in here.
There's the audacious charge from Xinjiao. Knockup. That was a very weird animation from Jarvan, but he does manage to complete. And gonna get chased in the bush a little bit. Makaya Time has to recall over on that Sona. Nice dodge of the Pillar of Flame using that audacious charge, and Poppy gonna get knocked up. Poppy's passive is so overpowered. My goodness, but Generic gets the kill onto Jarvan. This game is going to be let's kill everyone who is not Poppy.
Get it right, sub-cutie. It's 2 islands and counterspell. That's how that actually works. Bottom part of the map. Still Adori pushing over towards Corki. Corki hasn't gotten terribly far yet, but he also has not lost his tower, and neither has Adori, which means they're doing a good job. If you're a bottom laner and you don't lose your tower, great.
Oh no, Unicorns is going to be just fine, as all he wanted to do was pick up the speed shrine. Adori coming in alongside Makaya Time. Makaya Time is 6, so is Adori. Adori 6 maybe a little bit more important in this 2v2, but there's Stranglethorns coming down. Crescendo comes across for a little bit of disengage, but Syndra had already gone down. Syndra has Revive available, not proccing it quite yet.
Oh dear, I'm sorry, I was giggling at the Twitch chat. There's been a lot of very good team and group presence from Freiza's team. They've been staying together very, very well, which means they haven't really... Nothing cataclysmic has happened yet. Jarvan is 6, so we could see something cataclysmic occur. Unicorns, though, being caught coming back from the base is going to get taken down very quickly, and Practice Yellow is going to retreat from that. We have Ro8 running away, armed Weasel. There is something cataclysmic happening to Ro8. Position reverser happens to give him that extra armor, and MR gets that exhaust put on him, though.
That's a lot of damage, though. And no namer.
Oh!
One more.
Ooh.
Something, anything, that passive.
So close. That was maximum scare for Poppy.
Valiant Fighter is an OP passive. And there's the dodge, or the, not dodge, but the jump onto Brand. Brand goes down after the audacious charge. Didn't even need the third proc of 3 Talon Strike, and Unicorn is going to be able to get the neutral off, and then stop capturing to go over onto, and Chronic gets the kill. There's Diplomatic Immunity onto Practice Yellow, because he probably does do the least amount of damage out of everyone here, because he is an out-of-mana Maokai. Makaya Time getting focused down. Makaya Time! There is the Aria of Perseverance giving him the heal. He's going to survive. Practice Yellow running backwards with Generic. They almost have the capture. They just need to capture for a split second here and then be able to get it. But Adori is here. Adori does not have his ult anymore. And actually, Armed Weasel is going to get that. So the drill does go over. Generic managed to pick up the health, but Makaya Time managed to pick up the kill with his Q. Practice Yellow getting CC'd, exhaust onto Armored Weasel. He wants to get out. They did pick up the quest objective, so it's still worth it. Double kill for Sona, and Angina lives.
Jarvan, oh dear.
Does not live.
Finally dies. Yeah.
The minions.
So close there. I really enjoyed seeing Adori throw around Syndra's plants. That was pretty nice. Bottom lane, Golly's starting to get some damage on Clever Advisor. He hits pretty freaking hard. Tower is being captured.
Dory coming in. Still no ult for another 40.
There's that Valkyrie on for the escape.
You don't want to use that for an escape if you're AP Corky, but if you're not in the middle of a fight, it is just fine because the fight's over. Grassy Roots does hit onto Makai time, and Jaina coming across Crescendo onto 2, but he does get knocked up. Stranglethorns goes down, he will yield the kill. Jarvan is helping so very much. The other team, that is, with the Stranglethorns catching him himself inside his own Cataclysm. Poppy might finally go down. There's Poppy's first death. Remember, she has Revive, so she is going to be able to pop that immediately.
Poppy, a highly durable character back with the Revive, means that they'll be able to defend that drill from any pushes that occur, but unfortunately they still don't really have the ability to get out and active on the map. They've done a very good job at staying together, which means they haven't lost points. They had their drill neutral at one time, I think, but the enemy team hasn't really been able to install themselves. However, they also haven't been able to grab anyone to put a hole in the enemy's map control for them to move out across it.
And I just want you to remember this entire game that Poppy is a ticking time bomb. Jax, Poppy, Vayne, all those champions are just ticking time bombs because once Poppy gets a full build, she is extremely unstoppable. And until then, she's a little bit weaker. And Pfizer getting snared there by Zyra. Diplomatic immunity comes down, and Poppy can go on to generic. Exhaust goes down. Position reverser on the other side, and it's Adori who gets the shutdown with that ult. But Pyroclasm comes across, doesn't quite get all the bounces, but this fight is just a complete massacre because it's a 5 versus 4. Syndra had roamed up, and Corky's still in the bottom lane is going to be able to pick up the Boneyard, but Unicorns has to run away. No Namer's still trying to go on him. He's trying to get under the tower, wanted to pick up something onto Chronic there. Urgot coming up alongside Practice Heal on Maokai here. There's a sapling toss, should actually be able to pick up the kill. No, the EQ to get out. Arcane Smash not enough because Sona with the heal.
Sona denied that so hard, and you have to remember that if you're a Sona, this is one of the best places of the game to be, because if your ally is on the other side, you can just shoot things across at them. It's wonderful. Golly has taken control of the enemy bottom point.
But not for very long, I don't think, because he is flanked by 3 right now. Advisor is over here. There's the Valkyrie to dodge something that did not come yet, but he dodges anyway. It's absolutely melted. And Dory did not use ult because it's still on cooldown for another 19 seconds. Weasel now catching on to Advisor, but he is going to be caught himself as Chronic is here. Cataclysm comes down. Position reverser is not available, and so he is going to have his position reversed to the fountain.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to use that in the future. Maokai with the AoE there, that damage reduction. Oh, Corky picking off J4 and putting some hurt on Adori also is really going to discourage them from taking that bottom point. Now, Golly is pretty soft and malleable, but with the amount of hurt he was able to put on them, they decided that diving him would not have been a very good idea. Generic and Unicorns were able to take control of the drill, and Advisor is going to get the neutral on the Refinery. He will not get the full capture, however. Poppy is not quite going to pull off the neutral on the top point either.
Zyra has such long range to interrupt, and Advisor actually has to stop his recall there, so he's a little bit going to be caught out. Lands the Seer, but no stun because there is no pillar or anything first. Meanwhile, Poppy getting chased in the top lane, gonna go down. Advisor running into enemy territory, but it looks like he's gonna be able to pick up the health and maybe recall, or will he? Wants to actually stay and interrupt Weasel, and his ult does tick for, I want to say 4 seconds, so that's going to interrupt for a while. Makai time, good crescendo there onto both Weasel and Generic. Now chasing them back, Stranglethorns comes down, we'll be able to get the knock up on Makai time. That's going to keep him in range to die to the plant. Those plants are super good. There's a position reverser, but Weasel, there's the exhaust onto Chronic, and Weasel picked up the Terror Capacitor shield in time to not die.
In bottom lane, Clever Advisor picks up a kill on Golly with Seer. However, Zinzao is still there, present to keep people away from that bottom tower. And as chaotic as the game has gotten, Sofanda's map control has still just been excellent. They've been everywhere they've needed to be, responding to
Yeah.
people very well. They haven't really overcommitted to any location.
And Visor trying to backdoor it again, but going to get intercepted by Urgot here. And Urgot does get stunned there. Pillar of Flame across also. Advisor to pick up the health relic there, but Golly with the Valkyrie over. And the Pyroclasm was used there, so that's going to be another 70 seconds on the cooldown of that.
And the bomb point being captured, Sona is not going to get there in time to interrupt that. Dodges the corrosive charge, means it's going to save her from quite a bit of damage that could otherwise occur. Poppy is going to pick up that storm shield. Practice Yellow's Mao is not going to get there in time to keep her from being able to obtain that. And Adori, ooh, with the stun, Armed Weasel being taken down. Golly by himself getting hurt. Valkyrie's back on the tower. Top portion of the map, Generic and Practice Yellow have things under control there. Looks like Sona and Jarvan are moving towards the center of the map. They tag that speed shrine that everybody finds Maokai. They decide, hey, he looks pretty good to beat up. Let's do that.
Poor Maokai. Maybe he's going to go to the principal's office and tell on them now.
You know, that would be the wise thing to do. You should get an adult involved when something like that occurs. I like how Brand splits all the way over there, so that way even if Xin Zhao had been able to get in, he would only interrupted 2 people, and they get the neutral off.
They do get the neutral, but Weasel coming in just in time. That is the principal to stop the... I don't even know where I'm going with this analogy, because he was going to fall. Got the reverser, but it was interrupted. And No Namer taking a lot of damage from plants is going to get healed by Sona. Zyra's actually pretty good against Poppy, because what you want against Poppy is low damage, high DPS, so that the passive doesn't do too much. And Micaiah Time does a really good job of dodging the Rise of the Thorns there. It's the Audacious Charge onto Brand, and Pyroclasm gets 2 bounces off, but doesn't do too much overall.
The clock has been stopped at a very interesting number. We have seen comebacks, not exactly like this ever, but it is entirely possible because it's never really over in Dominion until the clock actually hits 0. We've seen plenty of 2-point games in Dominion's history. Chronic Angina is going to be taken down. This bomb point gets neutral, it will drag out the game, and Adori is going for that right now, but he stops the cap to try and zone back Golly.
So if they can get the refinery, they're not going to be able to hold on to the quarry. Adori did just get the neutralize there. Golly trying to stop them from getting anything more. Grasping Roots misses there, but she managed to make a Thorn Spitter. And so that plant going to help out a little bit more damage onto Adori there. I think the Zyra plans persist for a little bit longer. Great missile there comes out from Golly using his ult there to pick up the kill. And that's probably going to be game.
Yes, up at the top lane, Urgot's presence at the end of that fight was able to discourage Brand and Sona. They weren't able to capture the tower, and there's not enough time left over to capture a point on the map. And the victory is going to go to Sofanda.
Alright, so Sofanda moving on to the semifinals. AK the round of 4, AK round 3. AK the next round.
There's no round of 3. There's only been a round of 3 one time.
Round 3.
No, I said
Round
round of
three.
3.
I said it's the round of 4, aka round 3.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
Yeah.
round of 3 because that's only happened once.
It was the one that happened on Christmas when only 3 teams showed up.
Christmas weekend. I think Christmas was either the day before or it was on like Monday or something like that. But yeah, there were only 3 teams, and everyone's like, "Why are you guys playing?" They're like, "Because we want to keep our seating." And it's like, "Oh, that's reasonable, I guess." So it looks like Zyra in front. Zyra, all of that crowd control and all of that damage. She is an amazing character because of everything I just said. So, moving on. Time spent dead. Graveyard hero for this game. Jarvan with 170.
Well, Practice Yellow, if you are in school and other children are being mean to you, you should get an adult involved.
Exactly. We're going to have a round of 4 game coming up next for you in just a couple moments. We're going to cut to a commercial really quick while we get that set up, and then we will be right back with more games for you guys.